Welcome back to the Crazie Cast. A long off season. We apologize so dearly, but as you can see, we know you see the title. We know you see the title, so it's a big episode. Starting the season off with a bang. The Duke basketball season is officially underway as practice started. Um, yeah, I'm here with Russ, my guy Russ. How you doing, Russ? How was your off season break?
Off season was
Papa
good,
Russ.
man.
Papa Russ. Clap it up, man. Clap it up. Everybody clap it up that's watching, man. Papa Russ.
Yeah, man. And I got a bunch of movies coming out this holiday season too. I mean, it's just been a crazy, crazy summer. It's a crazy year. I'm sure it'll stay crazy. I just want to applaud Zion's lighting team on this shot he's got going on. They don't have any lights in front of his face. It's entirely being lit like a Marvel movie up in here.
Yes.
So nicely done. Um, yeah, I'm excited, man. It was really cool getting to talk to the coach. I know I've mentioned on here before. I was at school the same time as uh, Coach Scheyer. I keep wanting to call him John,
Good call him
but
Dawn. I
that's
mean, we're
he
adults.
he was at school the same time as me. It feels weird to call a guy coach when I was like, oh, there he goes. Oh, he's at a party. What's up? I don't know. But yeah, it was cool. It's interesting getting to talk to him and not to dive right in, but I guess we can. I really wanted, and we had talked a lot about, before we knew we were going to get to talk to him, it was an if, and now it's reality.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get to talk to him again in the near future. We did not want to do press conference style interview. We didn't want to do what's it like coaching Cooper Flag. We didn't want to do like the standard questions that he's going to get asked by
Mm.
every media outlet. We wanted to have more of a conversation, and I think when you watch the show, you're going to see we started with some pretty light questions, right?
Yeah.
Because we were having a nice conversation before we started rolling, and we were just trying to keep that vibe going before we dove into the basketball. I don't know, I think I personally can improve on the conversationalism. I think we could all improve next time, knock on wood, we get to speak to coach.
Yeah.
But then when we got to talk to the basketball stuff, I think that it helped, and I thought he was pretty loose. I mean,
Yeah.
especially before we started rolling on the intro stuff, he was cracking wise a little
Yeah.
bit, and having a good time. So again, I love the opportunity. I think even more going forward, we can talk more basketball, have more conversation, hopefully get a little more time to talk even more of the questions that we have that we didn't get to, and
Yeah.
just get to know him more as a dude, in addition to getting to unpack his basketball
Right.
mind some. So
I mean, yeah, piggybacking off of that, I mean, that's what we wanted to provide with this platform. He talks to the media as much
yeah,
as he can. He was just on John Rothstein's podcast, so and we wanted to give him a platform where he could be relatable. Bring down the coaching tone a little bit. Have some fun. Obviously, we'll always talk basketball as we do on our show. But yeah, I thought it went really well. For the time,
yeah.
especially we're working with cramped time, so I think
Yeah, it's right before the season.
yeah,
It's not surprising that it's not a bunch of time, but
right,
again, going forward, I think he had a good time. We certainly had a good time. So
yeah,
hopefully, this is something that we'll get to continue to explore going forward.
yeah, for sure. And he gave us some flowers too on the episode, so definitely be on the lookout for that. That was a cool moment. But I think this in general, having Jon Scheyer on, I think is just a culminating moment of what we've built here in the short time frame, and that definitely cannot be done without everyone who engages with us and listens to us and supports us consistently. So definitely thank you to Duke fans, thank you to just everybody who's always whether you're hating us or loving us on Twitter, whether you're hating us watching us online, we couldn't have done got to this point without you guys. And I wouldn't say we were starstruck, but I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people. I'm not starstruck, but it's very cool. It's a very cool moment, just for us as Duke fans to be acknowledged this way. And that cannot happen without you guys, and we are very grateful and definitely don't take it for granted.
Yeah, I also think it's probably it's hard both ways, right? I'm sure it's hard for coach to like flip that switch of like these are like media, right? And
Yeah,
so, to like loosen up a little bit in the same way that we are also trying not to just like ask very like pat questions, right?
right,
Where
right,
we
right.
were trying also to engage similarly. So I think the more we get to know one another, I think the easier that'll go. And I also want to say, even though we do want it to be fun and get to know him a little more and see the other side of him, I also think that then opens the door to getting some really interesting answers to questions.
Right, right.
And I think we were able to ask some cool, like, not yes or no, not like necessarily easy to answer
Yeah,
questions. We didn't grill him or anything, but like, I was interested in a couple of the answers that he gave. I'm interested to see what people think once we start talking the basketball. And again, I just can't emphasize enough that I hope we get the opportunity again soon, because it would be really cool to continue the conversation that we were
for
having.
sure,
I
for
think
sure.
I think we'll continue to get like a lot out of it, and Duke fans will get a lot out of it as well.
For sure. And I think even to that point, I think, he actually knocked down some of our questions that already had on the rundown. He answered and kind of aligned with some of our thoughts. So it was definitely really cool. And I think, he's definitely open to talking with us. And he seemed very open to just opening, just not closing the doors like, oh, I don't need to tell these guys anything. Who are they? No, he was open with us, and we really appreciate that. Definitely special thank you. Number one to Ryan. Ryan's not here too. Ryan is not here.
This is
Orchestrated
why
this.
we're thanking him, because he's not here. If he was here, we'd be knocking him down. But
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. He will be on the episode, but thank you, Ryan, and thank you to Rachel Baker. You are a Duke legend in my eyes forever. So,
thank you to Michaela. I don't know Michaela's last name, but
yes,
Michaela
Michaela
setting up.
too.
Yeah, setting up a lot of it as well.
Shout out to the Duke staff. We appreciate you guys for the opportunity. But yeah, it was really really dope conversation. We did not probably won't get to talk much Duke from our lens this episode, but we will be back. We might have a special guest after this one. We might have another one. Might be back to back. There's a little hint, a little
Ooh.
hint. But I guess if you didn't skip this intro, we got a secret word. What's the secret word, Russ?
Well, they're not going to skip the intro because Coach
You,
is
you never
talking the
know.
second this
You
is
never
over.
know. People just like to scrub, man. People just like to scrub. The real ones will listen.
I don't. I want to give a secret word that hints at who our future guest could be, but I don't know that I want to jinx it. You know what I mean?
Well, he already said he wants to come on, so you know.
Well,
Uh,
then you drop the secret word then.
okay, I'll say 50. 50. If
Ooh,
if you
interesting.
if you listen to this point, just tweet me at me, Russ or Ryan 50. Uh, we appreciate you guys. Uh, but yeah, without further ado, here's our little conversation with the head coach of Duke basketball, Jon Scheyer. Welcome back to the Crazie Cast. A long off season. We've been waiting to release another episode. We appreciate you guys for being patient with us. As you can see, we have the biggest guests we've had on this platform, and probably the biggest guest we could get on this platform for Duke basketball, the legend and Duke head coach Jon Scheyer. It is a pleasure for you to be joining us, and we're excited to have a little chat with you.
Man, it's an honor to be on the Crazie Cast podcast. Let's go. I'm fired up. Appreciate all your guys' support and passion for our program. And can't wait to talk about where we're at and where we're going.
For sure. We could jump right into it. This is our first time interacting with Jon. So Russ has a
Well, it's not.
background
It's
with
not.
you.
It's not. It's not my first time because I was at school with John. I was gonna say, we were talking before our times overlapped. This is my second time chatting with you. I chatted with you for a bit at Marty Pocius's birthday back in the day. We had we had some good times there. I wanted to just break the ice with a little. What was? Do you have any memories off the court at Duke? Like, I feel like every time I go back to campus, it's very different from when we were there. What was your favorite stuff to do? Good memories there.
Yeah, I mean, Duke has been a special place for me, like you said, not just because of the basketball. And for me, I think I think about the friendships, that you build here, and some of the closest people in my life I didn't even know when I was 17 or 18 years old. I think that's the cool part. But I remember just the feeling of being a freshman on East Campus, riding the bus back and forth, right? I remember, going to class, and, one of my favorite professors, God bless him, Gerald Wilson, just passed away. Gerald Wilson touched my life so much just being in his class. So the people you come across, to me, that's what makes this place special. And I didn't think I'd be back so quickly, another end, but it's a blessing that I am.
Yeah. What did Professor Wilson teach?
He taught, if I knew the name of the class, that would be really impressive. Off the top. He taught one of the most famous classes that a bunch of our guys took. He'd always call on you. American Dreams. It was American Dreams, something there, just history. But you had to make sure you were ready. Like, he didn't care, whether you're an athlete. He didn't care about anything. You better be ready to answer his questions. And he was going to put you on the spot.
Sick.
That's awesome. Coach, I said I'm from Minnesota. I'm a big Vikings fan. I know obviously you're from Chicago, big Bears fan. Caleb Williams coming in, a lot of excitement. Vikings are exceeding expectations so far. Wanted to get your thoughts on the Bears and Caleb Williams going forward.
Well, like Ryan Poles said, man, the plan is to take over the North and never give it back. All right, so we're in the process of getting there. We haven't taken over the North yet, but that is the plan. I believe in Caleb Williams. I love his demeanor. I think he's got some Jared McCain in him, just for what it's worth. I think he's got some big time competitiveness. He's got the Cali thing going too. I love our defense, right? I mean, you grow up in Chicago, you have to have a great defense. Having a quarterback is, not something we're used to. But again, we got our hopes up with Caleb for sure. I believe in him.
Yeah, it's tough when you have the Packers in your division, and they've had 2, now 3 quarterbacks in the last 25 years. So it's tough to compete in a division when you have competition like that.
Well, I just can't stand anybody that roots for the Packers. It's
right.
Just, like Con Nipple, man. Like Con, he walked in with this big smile this past week as Packers won. And
sure.
So anyway, you have to be a pretty special player to recruit a Packers guy. That means they're pretty good.
We're definitely gonna have to get to Con. I'm a Giants fan, so I'm similar. I got the same struggles right now. Even though it's a Duke alum, shout out Daniel Jones.
That's right.
We wanted to ask you a fun question. We actually saw this question on Twitter today. So shout out to Mike Hoops page. Your life is on the line, and you need one of these shots to fall. Which one are you choosing? Are you choosing a Joey Baker pump fake 1-dribble pull-up, any 3-pointer from Alex O'Connell against Syracuse, Matthew Hurt 3-ball after multiple jab steps, or Jared McCain pull-up transition 3?
They're all good options.
You're basically trying to set me up to get 3 guys mad at me. That's what you're trying to do, which is fine. Look, part of coaching is disappointing some. You can't please everybody. That's part of it. But all 4 of those are really good options. I've been sitting on the bench. I remember like it was yesterday with Alex hitting those 3s against Syracuse. I remember multiple times Matt Hurt jabbing and pulling up and hitting shots. And you said Joey, his pull-up is what you said?
Yeah, 1-dribble pull-up. Pump fake, 1-dribble pull-up.
Yeah, that's Joey's thing. I mean, that's what it's just – maybe it's because it's most recent, but I feel pretty good with Jared McCain showing those transition 3s. I got to say, I feel pretty good going down with that.
For
If you
sure.
had not picked the guy you were the head coach for, I was going to be really surprised. I feel I didn't realize Jared was on the list. I was like, oh, give him a choice, man. Come on. Speaking of just the depth of talent that we've had over the years, some of those guys, not even staying, the entire tenure of their college careers. One of the big things that Duke fans always like to talk about every offseason, obviously, is rotation size. And, every year
Right.
they're super gassed up. They think we're playing 11 deep, right?
Sure.
And obviously at Duke, traditionally, it tends to shore up, more in the 7-8 range. Obviously, this year is loaded again. What are we thinking in terms of what you're seeing, how deep you think we could potentially run? And, I mean, do you ever have plans to try to open up that rotation, make it nice and wide?
Well, to answer your question, one, I don't go into the year with a set rotation where we have to get it to 7 or we have to get it to 8 or even that we have to play 10. I know two things. One, I know we have 11 really good players. That's the first thing. Not everybody's going to play the same. Not everybody's going to play equal. My thing is letting practice dictate how deep we should go, while still giving room for some of our young players. Because, look, the start of our season, the schedule that we have is as difficult as any schedule that we've played, which I'm excited for. I think that's why you come to Duke. That's why you coach at Duke. But you need to give them some room to grow too. And who they are in November is not who they're going to be in February or March. And so if there's separation after 7 as a coach, well, then you should play those 7 the majority of the minutes. If there's separation after 8, if there's not separation and you need to play differently, I remember my sophomore year, we played 10 guys. We did. Now that was few and far between, but we did. And so for us as a coaching staff, we're letting our players dictate what's going to happen. Naturally, of course, you want to play as many guys as you can as a coach. That's what you want to do. Not necessarily always what happens. So for us, it's really going to be based on practice, who earns it, where that line is, and then also how guys do in games. So it's on them. I do know this. We have 11 really good players that all can make an impact. But again, we haven't even had our first day of practice yet for things to work out.
Sure. That makes sense.
I will say, even based off of that, I was listening to your podcast with John Rothstein. You did kind of admit that this team may have the potential to be the best defensive team you've seen since you've been at Duke. Is that based off of number one, bringing the size? Obviously, the size is a new factor for us, not having a player under 6'4", and factoring in. Obviously,
Caleb's probably 6'3". What do you guys think? I think Caleb may be. I don't know.
I got to give him 6'4", man.
He's 6'4".
Put Spencer out there. Put Spencer out there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say 6'5" because agendas. We're Duke fans, so we have to run with agendas.
There you go.
But yeah, what's kind of the factors that you're factoring in when you say something like that?
It starts with ability and it starts with mindset, and as we were putting together this team in the spring, we want to be very intentional as a staff about how the pieces all fit, right? And, when you bring a guy like Malik Brown, who leads the ACC in steals and is a versatile defender, I think we have several guys in our team that can guard 1 through 5. Cooper's one of them. I mentioned Malik. Sion is strong enough to really guard 1 through 5. Tyrese has shown he's as good of a perimeter defender as there is in the country. He just needs to do it all the time, which he will. So I think the versatility is key. So we have the personnel, and then I've liked the mindset that we have. We've been about – this team has been about the work. This team has been about playing both sides of the ball, and it's our job as coaches to – you talk about rotation. Well, the way to get on the floor and the way to stay on the floor is to bust your butt on that end of the floor and play defense. And that's a big goal for us this year.
Sure.
I'll say one more thing. Can I say one more thing on that?
Sure.
Look, our defense has been really solid the last 2 years. Even last year, we had a different team. We were consistently a top 20 defense, certain points, top 5, top 10 in the country. But we did it without rim protection. And when you have, I've been blessed and fortunate through the last 4 seasons. You coach Mark Williams, you coach Derek Lively, and then with Kaman, you know, protecting the rim is a big deal. When you can eliminate as many easy baskets as possible, or make a defense think that they can without getting in rotations, it's a game changer. And with him, Malik, Cooper, you know, we have to really do our job to protect that basket and make it hard for people to score inside.
Yeah, I was gonna say that same, versatility and the size, going to the other side of the court, obviously bringing some experience in the transfer portal as well. We've run a little on the slower side tempo wise the last few years. Again, we haven't started practice yet, so I'm sure a lot of it will be determined there. But I heard on a different podcast you said you wanted to shoot more threes this year. I wondered if that also carried into tempo questions, whether you wanted to continue to sort of pace on the offensive end, or if you wanted to try and get out and sprint with all the guys we have.
Well, it's there's 2 things to this, right? The first thing is looking at our teams the last 2 years. We've had really good rosters, like coaching our team. I think the combination of pieces for this year's group support each other really well. And shooting is so crucial to have in college because it's so easy to pack the paint. And so really, we're going to put 4 guys on the floor really at all times that can really shoot. And so that's a key thing. And so how do you manufacture getting more threes? How do you manufacture getting to the rim more? That's been a big priority for us with how we're playing and what we're emphasizing. So that's going to happen. And obviously playing faster, as much as you can score in the open court, the better. We've done that at times. You have to be really good at the decision-making when you do that, but that's also been a big priority. I think no question you'll see us play faster, and I hope we're talking after the year, after doing something special, where we're talking about us shooting more threes and playing with an open floor, which then opens it up for more driving opportunities for our key guys to attack the basket.
I'm sure junior year Tyrese helps with that too, just having him have more reps over the last couple of years.
Yeah, you know what? Look, I hope, and you guys can maybe speak to this, or I don't know how you guys feel, but I want our fans and our supporters to appreciate the ride of a Tyrese Proctor, right? Mm-hmm. Because Tyrese, he took a chance and came here a year early. He had a good year last year, but he'd be the first to say he knows he's got a lot more in him, and I can help him way more. And we have, look at a Wendell Moore, right? Wendell, the jump he made from sophomore to junior year. And that's what college is all about. That's what coming to Duke is all about, is going through some rough patches together, overcoming them. And Tyrese has had a great work ethic. He's had a big summer. And his maturity, for me, guys, it's just shown on a daily basis, which you can't do unless you go through some stuff, which he has.
Yeah, it's great. It is crazy that you said that. Just to jump in there, because we did have on the rundown, talk about Tyrese Proctor and compare him to Wendell Moore. I did actually tweet that. A lot of fans have given up on Tyrese the same way they gave up on Wendell. So year 3, it was different.
And can I just say, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I love the passion and support and part of this, man. No, part of this, listen, is being pissed when we lose. Nobody's more pissed than me, I promise. Or upset, or, with our players, with me. But we're way too hot and cold in general. Not Duke fans. I'm talking about in general. Right?
Yeah.
Me as a Bears
fan. You can say Duke fans.
Yeah, me as a Bears fan. It's all fans.
It's all fans.
It's all fans.
Yeah.
And
it's people. It's people in general, I feel like, on social media, right?
Like look, I'll just say as a Bears fan, we're on top of the world week 1. Week 2, we lose, and all these issues. Well, it's not black and white when you win or lose. And my focus for our team is to get stronger as the year goes on. And we've done that the last 2 years, where we've been playing really good basketball when it matters the most. Can we be healthy and do it? That would be the best case. But where we focus on what we can control and not be too quick to give up on guys, to give up on things that may not be working at the time, but all of a sudden you start to see success happening based on the work that's put in.
Yeah,
Everybody who listens to this show knows I'm Tyrese fan number one. I got the Tyrese Proctor hoodie, right? I'm not wearing it today, but I'm Tyrese guy number one, man. I'm stoked to see what he does this year.
Good.
Yeah, I will say too, John. I feel like since you've taken over, not that Coach K didn't do it either, but especially in that first year when you had Lively and Flip and everybody, it felt like as fans, like the year didn't start off the way we wanted to, but just to see the progression that you and everybody made throughout the year was like, now going forward, we know that like things will get better, adjustments are going to be made, and you guys have done a great job at that. So I think as like fans, we're learning to appreciate that more instead of those Zion years and the years before that, where it was always a hot start. It was always top 5 team right away, where it seems like it may not be that case right now, but you guys as a staff are always working and always improving. At least throughout these last 2 seasons, the teams have gotten better. It's been obvious since the beginning of the season, they've gotten better. So just as a fan, it's been fun to see that. And props to you guys for keeping that mentality.
Thanks. And by the way, I'm all for hot starts. I'm all for.
Well,
all for undefeated. Yeah. I'm all for it all. Like, I want it all. But you're gonna get thrown different punches, and part of this thing, man, is it's in a different environment that we live in now, with some new teams and new guys coming in, and you may go through some things. But I don't have any expectation where we just chalk off where it's okay to lose, or it's no. We want it all.
Yeah.
So
college basketball is different now. It's just older now too. So like starting seasons, you're playing against the Champions Classic now. All these teams used to be freshman oriented, and now they're all older. Like even Kentucky this year, and obviously Duke is older, and so just the start of seasons is just tougher than it used to be. I feel like so. Yeah, it's good to hear.
Well, that's I was going to say, for a last question, because I know we're running out of time here. Obviously with starting hotter this year, potentially age, right? We brought in these transfers from the portal with great experience. Whenever the transfer portal has opened, Duke fans are always immediately looking for like the guys who scored 20 points per game for their team, right? Like everybody gets so psyched on like every guy who enters the portal, right? I thought we did a really good job targeting some guys who would help, build and give us experience, winning experience, toughness. Describe for us, if you will, like what you guys are looking for in the portal. And is this something that Duke fans can expect going forward, looking for these guys who are maybe role players, but with great toughness, defense, who will lend that experience?
Yeah, maybe not. I think for me to say the next several years, what the environment looks like, and to be stuck in a certain way would be premature and foolish. I can tell you our decisions are made with feel and understanding of who we have coming in or who's committed to us or coming back. But also we use analytics. We think about putting this together with the best team, not the most talent. I feel we have enough talent and plenty of it, but it's the best team. And you look at what Mason Gillis has done, sixth most efficient offensive player in the country at Purdue his last year, championship pedigree, tough, shooting, about all the right stuff. All right, I like that. Malik Brown, his versatility and unselfishness, his experience in the ACC. All right, check. Okay, Sion James. You look at what he's done, 4 years at Tulane. He's gotten better and better. He shot close to 40 from 3, but his intangibles, his body, his physicality. Okay, that's a little bit different than what we've had. Great fit. So for me, this has all been about strictly building the best team and getting guys that are bought into being a part of that, also having big goals for themselves. And I've loved working with them every day. Going forward, that may be we get that from 1 or 2 more players returning and retention, which is obviously something that we want to do. We want to do it in the right way. Are we going to recruit the days of having 6-7 men freshman classes? Probably not. But our primary way of recruiting is still going to be through high school. Next year you're going to lose probably close to you're going to lose 20% of the portal next year, right? Because instead of 5 classes, now you're dealing with 4 classes, no COVID year.
Mhm.
But you're going to lose about 50% of the best players in the portal next year as well. And so that's going to be an avenue we're going to go to for the right person in the right situation. But the main core of the values of who I feel we are, it's the right talent, the right people through high school, retention, again, understanding the portal is still a thing and that can happen. But that's our goal of how we're going to try to build it.
For sure.
Great.
We definitely appreciate you, Jon, coming on. We went a bit over time, but we appreciate you just talking up and chopping it up with us. This is a great moment for us, obviously, and we hope we can have you on. Maybe after the parade in Durham this year, we'll bring you back on if you would come on with us for sure.
Well, no, thanks for having me. And let me just say, while I have you guys, you're talking about Duke fans, or we were talking about hot and cold. Duke fans are the best. Like, I've seen the evolution of Duke fans since when I was here in 2006, and we've been through some tough moments now, but we've been through some big time moments as well. And nothing I've ever accomplished here has happened without going through some stuff, some tough moments. Russ, were you in school for VCU?
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, VCU. I mean, come
Eric
on, man.
Maynor, sure. Yeah.
Come on, man. But it ends up in a national championship because of that, And, I remember the year before we won the national championship, what happened? In 2015. Year before that, what happened?
Mercer.
So my point is, this is a special place. Like, I'm fortunate every day I get to look out in Shashevskyville and I see Cameron right here. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world, but I'm also the luckiest guy because of Duke fans and supporters, not just North Carolina, all over the world, in North Dakota or wherever. Wherever you guys are, So just thank the 3 of you guys, man. Thank you for what you guys do, and appreciate you guys having me on.
I'll take a Mercer guy hitting the Dougie one year if it means the title the next year any day.
And I'm not saying, by the way, I don't want those moments. Just so we're clear. Yeah. But the process of how you get there, that's what makes it special. And I'm proud of what we've done first 2 years and all that. But I know the